Good evening, families. My name is Rebecca Luguja. Welcome to Hacking Your Fitness. We are so excited that you're here with us tonight. We'd love for you to keep your cameras on if you're able so we can see your faces and feel more connected. Please also make sure to mute your microphones during the session so that everyone can hear clearly. Also, if you would use the name of the name associated with Parents Challenge. That way we know who to give credit for tonight's session. Now, it's my honor to introduce our speaker for tonight. Faith Becker is an online health, fitness, and nutrition coach, specializing in women's health and mindful eating. Since 2016, she's helped women achieve sustainable goals without sacrificing the foods or moments they love. She's also a wife, mama, and proud daughter of the King. Families, please join me in welcoming Faith Becker.
Hello. Thank you guys for having me tonight. I'm very excited to just share my knowledge and things that I've done over the past almost decade, helping women specifically. I've also helped men, so this does apply to men as well. But just helping them just find balance in their lifestyle, because I'm sure most of you have heard about all of the restrictive diets from low carb, keto, fasting. There's so many things out there that it can be overwhelming to know like what's the right thing for me and my family and how do we live a lifestyle that is healthy but not in a way to where you can't also enjoy the moments in life like going out to ice cream with your family or birthday parties which happen like once a month at this point. um, so I really wanted to just give some tips on how you can really just start to build a lifestyle that's realistic for you and your family, in regards to nutrition and fitness and just overall habits that you can implement every day. So, what I'm going to do is share my screen. I have a little PDF document that I'm going to share with you. So, just bear with me for a moment. And then, Rebecca, if you don't mind letting me know if you can see the screen or not in just 1 second. Okay. Can we see this? Okay, awesome. I'm trying to make it full screen, but it is not letting me do that. Not sure why. Um, Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. Hold on. Okay, here we go. So there's a lot of information on this document, so I'm gonna go through the things that I wanted to cover tonight. And then at the end of this, I will talk about if you did want a copy of this, you can shoot me an email, but I'll get back to that at the end of this. So, the first thing I wanted to touch on was macros. So macros is just a fancy term for the main nutrient groups in your everyday meals. So that includes your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fat sources in your meals. So these are the three that they are. And here I have a list of different foods that fall under each category. But I wanted to talk about the importance of this. So if we have too much of one thing, right? So if we have too many carbs and not enough protein, we're not going to have balanced blood sugar. We're going to feel hungrier faster. Um, and it also can impact your heart health, your, holding on to fat and all of those other things. And so knowing your macronutrients is really important so that you can build balanced meals. That's the ultimate goal, so that your body can receive the nutrients that it needs to function optimally. Not just to survive through the day or get through the day, but to feel good by the end of the day. And so this is just a way to teach you how to build your plate. And I'll have another slide here that'll show you how to kind of do that. But this is a resource that shows you, okay, what is protein? So like chicken breast, turkey, ground turkey, salmon, lobster, if you think about protein, it's usually the meat sources, right? But there's also things like cheese, cottage cheese, those things are also sources of protein. Protein is important because it helps balance your blood sugar. It also helps with optimizing your muscle growth. It also helps with digestion. There's tons of benefits to protein. And this is one that's typically lacking in most meals, um, at least from what I've seen over the years of coaching. And so if you just add protein to at least 3 meals a day, is usually what I tell my clients, that will help really sustain your energy throughout the day so that you're not constantly like, why am I always snacking? Why am I always hungry? Like I eat, a handful of goldfish or I have a snack and I'm still so hungry. Why is that? And it might just be because you're missing out on an essential nutrient that your body needs. Okay, so that is something that can really help. Carbs, very common term. I feel like it's more common to know. Carbohydrates, they give you that really quick energy. Your body burns through carbs the quickest because it reaches for that first. And so those are things like, rice, potatoes, pasta, oatmeal, those kind of things, bread. And here's just a list to help you with that. And then fat, there's a negative connotation with fat, I feel like, in the nutrition world or just when you hear about nutrition. But actually, fat really helps support your hormone health, specifically for women, also for men, but specifically women, reproductive health, all of those things. And then it also helps you absorb nutrients properly. And so, if you are feeling fatigued, if you're feeling anxious, things like that, fat can really help with that. And so, some really good sources of fat are like avocado, cooking your protein in like olive oil, avocado oil, having snacks like peanuts, walnuts, things like that, just laying around. Dark chocolate is a great source of fat along with iron. So, not to go too deep into this, but I just wanted to lay the land of here's how you can start putting meals together so that you can have more sustained energy throughout your day and for your kiddos to just have more of a balanced lifestyle with their food. And then the next is your micronutrients. So they're basically the essential nutrients required by the body in relatively small amounts for various physiological functions. So unlike the macronutrients, micronutrients do not necessarily provide energy, but they are vital for maintaining overall health and well-being. So they include your vitamins and minerals. But note on this, veggies, fruits, fiber, they're all carbohydrate sources. However, these foods typically have higher amounts of vitamins and minerals versus, the typical pastas, breads, those kind of things. And so when we think about fruits and veggies, veggies is something our kids don't really love. It's usually the one they're like, I'm not going to eat that. However, having the knowledge of why they're important, I think can really help switch the mindset of like, you need to eat it because it's quote unquote healthy. Yes. However, also it does give you, um, it does benefit your body in a sense of absorbing the nutrients properly, again, so that your body can function optimally. So, I know that was quite a bit of information there, but I just wanted to give you guys a list of things that can help with that. Same with fiber, and we'll go more into fiber if this will scroll. Okay, so fiber, this is really important because it helps prevent constipation, it helps with digestion, regulates your blood sugar, lowers bad cholesterol. It acts as a prebiotic, providing food for beneficial bacteria in the gut, helps things running smoothly, helps with nutrient absorption. I mean, the list goes on why it's helpful. And so just a quick tidbit on fiber. It's optimal to consume at least 25 grams of fiber a day and anywhere between 25 and 38 grams per day. Um, and so when you're putting meals together, think of fiber of your berries, your leafy greens, um, oats, those kind of things. And I have a list of fiber right here as well. Cool. So that's just a way to just help things, keep things moving. And then the other thing on meal timing or nutrition is meal timing. So Ideally, it's good to have three main meals and maybe 1 to 2 snacks in between. And of course, pay attention to how active you are. If your kids are involved in sports, make sure they're getting, the proper nutrition that they'll need on a day-to-day basis. Same with you. If you're busy running around, taking kids to soccer, doing the chores, doing the housework, cooking, cleaning, it's a bunch of work that your body goes through every day. It's so important to refuel your body. And so this is just a helpful way that you can, kind of plan out your day as far as meals go. Um, and one other tidbit here is coffee after food. Now, this might be controversial, but I'm sure most adults, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but like raise your hand if you typically go for coffee before breakfast. Like coffee is your first thing. Yeah. Yep. And that's normal. I think it's just something to get me going, got to get through the day. Um, However, I highly encourage that you eat something before you have caffeine. And the reason being is because it negatively impacts your cortisol. So your cortisol goes on a level where it spikes in the morning and it's supposed to slowly teeter off into the night. Like if you were to go get some labs done to look at your cortisol levels, if it's ideal, it should spike up and then teeter off during the day. Might not be that if your caffeine is the first thing hitting your system in the morning, because that's what creates that afternoon crash. If you hit your system super hard in the morning with caffeine, you're likely going to have that crash in the evening. And so this is a hack to eat and then coffee. And the reason why is because it slows down that um, process of your body digesting the caffeine. I'm trying to think of a different word that I'm trying to say. Um, but basically, yeah, to the point where it slows down the process of the caffeine getting through your system. So that's a huge hack because I know a lot of us by like 2 or 3 p.m. when you're supposed to pick the kids up from school and you need that second wind, to like get them through the rest of the night before bedtime. The one thing that could be creating that crash is having the caffeine first. And then obviously there's going to be other things like your sleep and things like that. It can be very hard with especially young children. However, something to think about. So hopefully this is helpful. Don't skip breakfast. Don't do it. It's actually super important for your body to receive something as, within an hour of waking. And then, try to go 2 to 3 hours, depending. You can go 4 to 5, but figure out what's best for you. Just don't go a whole day without eating. That will slow your metabolism. It will make your body work slower, actually. And I know there's so much information I could share, and I'm trying to simplify it, but basically, if you don't eat throughout the day, your metabolism starts to slow down because it's not receiving the energy it needs to keep it on fire. So I kind of want to give a little analogy really quick, and then I'll move on from this. But think about a fire, right? When you start a fire, it's burning steadily, but eventually it starts to slow down, right? It starts to die out. What gets the fire going again? Throwing a log in it. Then it spikes up again, right? Think of that with your metabolism. That's how your metabolism is. The longer you go without food, the more it's going to slow down. But when you eat something, boom, spikes it up again, right? So that's why it's so important to eat meals throughout the day. And this is actually something so important to teach your kids too, like so that when they become adults, they have a better understanding of how does my body work throughout the day? And why do I need to eat like this? Why should I not avoid carbs, right? So hopefully that is helpful, and I'll leave room for questions at the end. But yeah, so that's meal timing. Oh, one last thing on here is universal supplements. So protein powder, most of you have heard of this one. It's just a way to help increase your protein. Not necessary, but if you find yourself struggling to hit protein throughout the day, that's a good thing. Fish oil, that just helps your joints function well, helps with your cholesterol. BCAAs help with muscle recovery. Vitamin D, I'm sure most of us, actually, probably all of us are vitamin D deficient. And that does affect your mood. It affects your energy. It negatively impacts your anxiety, things like that. So having vitamin D is incredible, and just a regular multivitamin. And I put here, like, always ask a doctor before taking any supplement. This is not medical advice. Just want to clarify that. These are just supplements that are widely known. Run it by your doctor and see what they recommend. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and skip this one. But portion sizing. This is a great hack to help you understand how much you need of each category. So you know how we talked about macros earlier, your carbs, protein, and fat. This is a good visual guide to help you do it without like getting a food scale, because that's really common. If people are on a weight loss journey, they'll buy a food scale, they'll use measuring cups, things of that nature. But a lot of us with families don't really have time for that, unfortunately. And so I want to make it easier for you with this. So the front of your closed fist is about a half cup. Of course, that varies male and female, but in general, that size. And then a clenched fist to the side is about a 1 cup serving. So if you think about cooked rice, be like, okay, I need to get like a cup of rice. Okay, it's about the size of my fist. And then you put it on your plate and then you kind of measure, and that helps with the portion sizing. And then your palm is about 3 to 4 ounces, which is a standard serving of meat as it says there. And with macros, everybody's going to have different goals. And so I can't say for the majority of the people on this call what a certain amount you should reach for is. But, if we're doing, at least 3 meals a day with a protein source, measure it with your hand, put it on your plate and be like, okay, that's probably a good amount that I can have. And it's honestly the same for your kids too, like their palm size, their fist size, because you don't want to give them an adult portion because they probably wouldn't finish their plate. And then your fingertip is about a teaspoon. So the reason why there's a picture of butter here and then your thumb being a tablespoon is typically because you measure your fats that way. And the reason that is because carbohydrates and protein are about 4 calories per 1 gram, but fat is 9 calories per 1 gram. And that's why people typically hear like a lower fat diet. It's really just because it's double the amount of calories per gram. That's it. And so that's why it's important to make sure, what your portion sizing is so that you can stay within your goals. And then if you have more questions on macronutrients, please shoot me an email. We will get it over to you because this is quite a bit of information. Because, I do custom macros for my clients and things like that. But again, it's different for every person. So if you have questions, you can feel free to ask. And then here's another thing, and you can look at this later, but it's basically similar to this, just another visual. Okay, so that's a good hack for portion sizing. Now, nutrition labels. This is so important. If y'all don't know about nutrition labels, I'm about to put you on because this is life-changing. Actually, I kind of want to see, I'm going to stop sharing because I want to see in the chat because I can't see everybody. Who knows how to read a nutrition label? You can raise your hand. Okay. So I'd say about 10% of the room. Okay. Cool. So, and then if anyone that does know how to read a nutrition label, feel free to put something in the chat if you want to add something. Oh, it skipped. Hold on. Oh no. Oh no. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so these are the nutrition facts that are on the back of every single item you buy at the grocery store. This is what tells you how many calories are in the thing that you're eating, what is the fat amount, the carb amount, and the protein amount. The macros we talked about earlier? They're all right here on your nutrition label. So the first thing you want to look for is a serving size. So this is a picture of bread that I took, but it says serving size is 1 slice. So a lot of the time, some people might think a serving size is 2 slices because for bread, for a sandwich, right? You have 2 slices. But no, it's one. At the top, it'll tell you how much fat is in it. So one serving, one slice of bread has 1 gram of fat. And just a moment ago, I said 1 gram equals 9 calories, right? If we're tracking. So this would be 9 calories from fat, because that can also be a confusing term. So I just want to clarify that. And then the carbohydrates, it says 19 grams of carbs, and then 4 grams of protein, which is actually pretty good. So if you have 2 pieces of bread, that's 8 grams of protein. A lot of people think there's not protein in bread, but there actually is. And like if you like eating bagels, they actually have 10 grams of protein in them. Crazy. Um, so that's why it's important to read your nutrition labels, because you might feel like, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten enough chicken today, or oh, I have to make more steak. It's like, no, you actually might have filled it in with the other foods you were eating throughout the day. Um, so this is how you kind of read the nutrition label. Obviously, there's other things like the sugars, polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats. That's stuff we can get into later. It's not as important for general health. Um, but I guess another thing to look for is your dietary fiber and how I talked about, you want to strive for 25 grams a day. If you ate one slice of bread, you'd get 2 grams right there. So hopefully this is helpful. I know that it can be a lot of overload on your brain. I'm sure if you have no idea about nutrition, it's probably a lot. But I'm just trying to give some hacks in the sense of this is how we can understand your nutrition better. Okay, so that's nutrition labels. And real quick, actually, if you don't mind me stopping sharing, I want to see if there's any questions this far. You can either unmute yourself or put it in the chat. Okay, awesome. If something comes up, we can come back to it. Beautiful. Okay, back to it. Next thing I want to talk about is hydration. Water, why is it so important? So first things first, water makes about 60% of our body, which most of us have learned this in science class at one point. So if that's true, then we ought to think about how important it is to consume. So hydration is key because it helps transport nutrients, regulate your body temperature, support bodily functions. It helps with performance, inflammation, detoxification, regular digestion, weight management. The list goes on and on. Basically, you need water. So don't skip out on it. A good hack with water is getting something that you can carry around with you. So this is the one that I have. It's a hydro jug, but it doesn't leak. So it looks like a Stanley, but it's not. And it's 32 ounces. So I know for sure if I drink, 2 or 3 of these a day, then I'm gonna get the right amount of water. And this goes for everyone. Get a water bottle that you can bring around with you. And honestly, it's cheaper. It's cheaper to do this than it is to get the plastic water bottles. There's refill stations everywhere. And if you have a massive one like I do, it'll probably last you a couple hours. So, and for your kiddos, they have water fountains at school, so they can always refill it there too. And then what else was I going to say with this? Oh, how do you know if you're hydrated? So one thing to look at is how you are not. Do you have headaches, dark urine, chapped lips, cramps? You're likely dehydrated. If your mouth is dry, if you have a hard time focusing, I mean, that's kind of vague because that can also relate to food intake, but look for those signs and that'll tell you if you're hydrated or not. And next question is, how much should you be drinking? So the minimal rule of thumb is about 60 ounces a day for adults. So basically drink half an ounce per 1 pound of body weight. For example, if you're 150 pounds, drink 75 ounces of water daily. The thing with this too is we live in Colorado, and it's very high altitude. So our body actually uses more water at altitude versus not. And I mean, you probably go through your day feeling winded. Like I just walk across my kitchen and I'm winded for no reason. But it's like your body just uses more because we're at altitude. It has to work harder. And so that's why I say minimally 60 ounces, but that's a good mathematical equation you can do. This can also apply to your kids as well. So multiplying their body weight by zero point 0.5. If they're in sports, do more. If they're in sports, I say do like 1 ounce per pound, which might sound crazy, but trust me, they need it. So what else can help with hydration? Electrolytes. Most of you have probably heard about it. Gatorade is a common one. Not recommended, but it's an option. I can give some more options on electrolytes, but your body can absorb water even better with electrolytes. My recommendation is Redmond Relight. It's on Amazon. It's a really, really good one. Or Element Brands. Liquid IV, pretty good. It just has a lot of sugar in it. Um, but for kids especially, they need the calories. Give them the Gatorade. Give them the body armor, whatever. Coconut water is also a really great source of electrolytes. So if you want something a little more simple where you don't have to mix a powder or anything, something that's you can just grab and go, body armor, Gatorade, and coconut water are great options. Okay, that's hydration. And then I had one more little graphic here. Our blood is 85% water, brain is 75%, lungs 90. And then your skin is 80% water, bones are 24%, and muscle is 75% water. Isn't that crazy? Like we're just all these water bags just floating around, you know? So fuel your body as you need to. All right. So that is hydration. Okay, this is a really good one. Best grab and go items for families on the go. Fairlife protein drinks. If y'all aren't on those, get on them. They're great. Um, Even if you're lactose intolerant, which again, talk to your doctor, they add lactase back into Fairlife drinks. And lactase is the enzyme that helps your body digest lactose. So that's why a lot of people that are even lactose intolerant can have Fairlife because they put that enzyme back in so it doesn't give you that stomach ache. These are also 30 grams of protein. Again, that'll give you really good sustained energy. Put it in your kids' lunches, and it'll sustain them for the rest of the day until they come home, along with, of course, a meal. But beef jerky sticks, those are great. Go-Go squeeze, apple sauces, Baby Bell cheese, string cheese, any fruit of any kind with peanut butter packets or nut butter if there's allergies. Or you could do hummus with some veggies. Trail mix is great because it has the fats from the peanuts, and then it has the dried fruit. That's a really great thing. Popcorn, P3 portable protein packs. They're kind of similar to Lunchables, but they're just little snacks. I think they range anywhere from 10 to 15 grams of protein in those. The single serve Greek yogurt cups, rice cakes, popped chips, dried fruit, hard-boiled eggs. These are easy to just pack and go. And eggs have so many nutrients in them. They're very, very nutrient dense. Tuna packets are great, or they even have like chicken salad packets. This is one that's kind of underrated because they're really high in protein and they're so easy. You just open them and then you could scoop it with a cracker. Go Macro bars or any protein bars. Baked chips, Unreal bars are great. Yeah, I don't mean to just keep reading off the list, but hopefully this is helpful. A lot of these things you can get at Costco or Sam's Club. Same with Walmart. I believe Walmart has Fairlife. They are a little more expensive than your typical snack. However, you could split a Fairlife to between like 2 meals for your kids because it's very high in protein. Um, so yeah, hopefully this is a good hack for you guys so that you know, okay, what are some good snacks besides just like gushers or things like that, which are, I'm not saying they're bad. Trust me, I love me a good gusher. I have some in my car right now. So don't get me wrong. It's just what's going to help you feel more energized throughout the day. These are some good recommendations. Okay, this is more for mindful eating. Tips for meal prep. I'm actually going to send this because there's so much information on here, but I'll just say quickly on meal prep, it can be a very helpful tool to save time. So if you have time on the weekends, this is a good way to involve your kids in cooking, save time during the week, not feel stressed about what you're going to eat for dinner every night. Um, it helps my clients specifically a lot, and I work with a lot of parents, a lot of moms, and it saves them so much time so that they can spend more time with their kids or help them with their homework or things like that. But basically, you want to find a day, say it's Sunday, where you can put aside like 2 hours to just prep specifically your meats, because I think that's the one that can take the longest. Um, so figure out for the week, like, do I want, teriyaki beef bowls? Do I want grilled chicken? Do we want some taco bowls? Like, what is kind of our goal for meals this week? Prep your protein, and then you can figure out the rest of it for the week. So say you want some rice with some chicken. Cool, you can pop rice in the rice cooker, the night of, and that takes 5 minutes to do. So, yeah, that's the main thing on meal prep. Main hack is make your protein. Wash your fruits and veggies, chop them. That's a big one. Because I don't know about you guys, but if I don't like prep my veggies, they're gonna go bad and they're not gonna get touched and they're gonna rot in the fridge. And then I'm gonna throw them out after 2 weeks and I'll feel guilty about it. And then it's like this cycle, right? Because it's like I should have used it, but I didn't. I don't know if everybody struggles with that, but that is just something you can do is just prep it ahead of time so that by the time you come to cook a meal, it's just ready to go. But yeah, there's a lot more on here that we can go over, but I can just send this after. And then on here too, I have some recipes, which we won't go over right now. And then the rest of this is mindful eating. Okay, this is a habit hack. Stress. Raise your hand if you're stressed a lot. Yeah, basically everybody, right? We have stress in our lives, whether it's conscious stress, subconscious stress, physical, non-physical, mental, spiritual, whatever's going on, we deal with daily stressors. And so I just want to touch on this because managing your stress is going to play a crucial role in your health, and in your progress, especially if you're like on a weight loss journey or whatever, but just your health journey in general. Your stress hormone, also known as cortisol, can be unbalanced if stress is not managed properly. So some negative impacts of stress include emotional eating, negative impact on your hormones, disrupted sleep, disrupted digestion, increased inflammation in your body, slows down your metabolism, and we can go on and on and on. But here's how you can start managing your stress better throughout the day. It'll be individualized to you, but these are just some ways you can get started. So one thing is called parasympathetic movement, which basically is a fancy term for slow movement. Stretching, Pilates, low intensity walking, just slowing down, like allowing your nervous system to just calm down. And that can also mean things like prayer, reading, knitting, like things that you just enjoy that help calm you down. This can be very, very helpful, even if you need, your husband to take over, be like, hey, I need 10 minutes. I'm gonna go outside and do your thing. Another thing is low intensity activities. That's what I just talked about. Journaling, Journaling is actually extremely beneficial. There's a ton of research on it, by the way, but I won't get into that now. Just something to consider. Eating lower inflammatory foods. Um, that one's a more advanced one. So basically, like less processed foods can really help your body with stress, like physical stress. Wear blue light blocking glasses before bed, especially if you're one to watch TV before bed or be on your phone, things like that. Blue light blocking glasses help calm your system, and it kind of like blue light is what tells our system like on, basically. And so if you wear that, 30 minutes before bed, it helps your system actually start to, I don't want to say shut down, but slow down. Avoid the news. Haha, that one. Social media, the things that can cause more stress first thing in the morning. Instead, go stand in the sunshine, read scripture, journal, get rid of the news channel altogether. Not saying it's bad, but you don't want the first thing that your brain to see is the negative stuff happening in the world, because that actually does have a negative impact on your stress level, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Again, there's research on that, and there's a reason why I have it on here. So instead, do something slower. Address problems when they happen. So try not to hold on to grudges, hold on to things, like address it. That one's a lot more difficult, but it's a way to help. Listen to your body, slow down, get proper sleep, minimally 7 to 8 hours per night. A lot of us with infants know that it might not be possible to do that, but get as much as you can. Um, Breath work, so just slowing down your breath. It helps you just regulate your system. Spend time with people who fill your cup. Um, if you don't have a circle of community, which I imagine with this community, there must be somebody, right? But just people that encourage you, that lift you up, that you feel grateful to be around, that actually helps a ton with that too. And decrease your caffeine intake. That one's a hard one. But going back to what I was saying earlier, it definitely can negatively impact your cortisol, which then in turn affects your metabolism, weight gain. It's a full chain reaction cycle that happens in your body. Um, and so stress is a massive part of that. So that is that. I will go ahead and stop sharing. I think that's all, yes, for that. Okay. So lots of information there. What questions do we have on that portion of things? Anything from nutrition, habits, caffeine intake, macros? Yes. I think
Erica
you're,
had a question about not
sorry.
feeling thirsty until she's active
Uh-huh.
and why that would be.
Yeah, I don't really
Um,
have a like I don't feel thirsty throughout the day and I work with kids and all of a sudden I do get that headache. But
mm,
because I'm not feeling thirsty, I don't drink until it's like too late. So and maybe it's because it's water, like I have a hard time drinking, just sitting and drinking water. I've tried in the past.
yes.
Um, is there any tricks to maybe helping me or helping others that have that problem, like reminding them or making, I know you can add things to water. I just can't seem to get into a habit of drinking it.
Yes. That is a wonderful question. And I will start off by saying you're not alone in that. Especially, are you a teacher? Okay, gotcha. Oh, you're muted.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I homeschool, but
Yes.
then I teach a few days a week.
Okay. It's actually so funny. All teachers that I've ever worked with all struggle drinking water. Every single one of them. I'm not even kidding. And it's truly just because your mind is focused on your job and what you need to do throughout the day. You don't really have a lot of time to rest or to take breaks. And so naturally your thought process doesn't really think about, water per se. And so what I have told my teachers in the past is set silent alarms. I know that it's not, you obviously don't want your alarm to go off in the middle of class, but if you have like an Apple Watch or something that can like just notify you really quick, and then just be like, okay, gonna grab my water bottle and take a sip. Um, I just say like 3 big chugs, like if you have a straw, and just like chug it 3 times really quick. That's probably about like 4 to 6 ounces of water, just right there. Um, Alarms is a big thing. That can help a lot because sometimes we just forget. Having a water bottle that you actually like one that you invest in, which sounds so silly because it's like it's water. But if you actually like your water bottle, you're more likely to grab it and want to drink out of it. I know it sounds silly, but trust me, like if you find one that you like, it helps a ton. Um, and another one you said is just adding flavoring to your water. That's a big one. Another thing you can do is make an electrolyte drink because that counts towards your water. So, say you do one that's 16 to 24 ounces, add your electrolytes to it, boom, you already got probably 25 to 30% of your intake just from the electrolytes. Um,
Is there a good electrolyte that you suggest that's healthy? Because the one I used to get were just like the ones in the packet, and I'm sure they were loaded with other things besides electrolytes.
yes, yes. Seems like you were very conscious in that, which is cool. Like like about all of that stuff. Yes, so Redmond Relight is my absolute favorite. It's super clean. The only sweetener is stevia. No artificial colors or flavors, preservatives, none of that. I'll send it in the chat. And then I can send you an Amazon link too. But that one's a scooper. So it's not like you can just bring a packet and so you'd have to bring like the tub, or you can put a scoop in a Ziploc bag or something like that and just bring it. There's
Okay.
also shaker bottles that have, I don't know if you've seen those before, where they like screw on the bottom. You could put the supplement in and then screw it back on. Have you seen
Mm.
that before?
No, that's cool.
Okay. I'll try to find one that I can send to you. Um, from Amazon because those are cool because sometimes if you put the supplement in the bottom, it'll get, like chunky or stick to the sides. But this is cool because you can add the water, unscrew it, then put the supplement in and then shake it up. Um,
Can you put the Hydra, is it a Hydra jug? I wrote it down. Is that right? Jug on there
yes,
too?
yes, definitely. I think it's just hydrojug.com, so I'll send that link. Hopefully it goes to the right place. Let me check. And they also sell them at Scheels. But I have a discount code from a friend for their website. We love it, a good discount code. So I can send that to you. I think it saves you 10% if you want to get a hydro jug. Of
Okay, thank you.
course. Was that helpful?
Yes, thank you. I
Absolutely.
just need to do it.
I know, girl. It's honestly, it really is about discipline, just like workouts and just like meal prep and eating good. It's all about discipline. And so I think the more you think about it, the more likely you're able to do it ultimately. Like where your mind goes is where you go. So your actions follow your thoughts. And so if you're just avoiding it and not thinking about it, you're not likely to do it, just like anything else. So if you
Thank
need
you.
accountability, just shout out. Awesome. Yeah, needed. Sorry, I'm catching up on the chat. Um, yeah. Yeah, Julie saying that you got him a new water bottle. It makes a big difference, especially for kids. They like get one with a Disney princess on it and they'll drink it versus the one that doesn't, you know? Might work for adults too. I don't know if you're into Disney princesses. Fasting from James. So fasting can actually be very beneficial. Yeah, this is a topic that would probably take a whole nother session, but I guess to put it in short, for men, I think it's more beneficial than women because we have 28-day cycles on average versus men have a 24-hour cycle. So what we go through in a month, y'all go through in a day, which is crazy, right? So that's why the differences between men and women are so important in knowing how to navigate nutrition and workouts and everything in life, is because we work on different cycles. So for men, I would say it's beneficial. Like if you do it from evening to morning, yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that because if I go too much further, I'd probably be here a while. So I would just say it's good to do it in cycles, like fast for a couple weeks, take a break, do it again, take a break for a week, start up again. That way your body can continue to, your metabolism can continue to go because even with any diet in general, if you do it for a very long time, eventually your body gets used to it. Have you guys ever noticed like when you're working out and you do the same exercises over and over the course of a couple of weeks, and then you notice you're not sore anymore and like you don't see changes, you might plateau is the common word for that. It's because your body just needs different stimulus. So that's why you want to switch up, your workout and nutrition cycles. Nutrition's a little bit different, but workout specifically, like every 4 to 6 weeks, you can go up to 8 weeks. You want to switch it up. So if you have more questions about fasting, though, feel free to shoot me an email. Needed is good. Yes, I can send access to the slides. Like I said, we'll have the team shoot over your or my email so that you can reach out to me. Awesome. Okay, you sent it. Perfect. Okay. What other questions do we have for nutrition? Okay. Awesome. Just wanted to give it a few more seconds. All right, so this second half honestly won't be as long. There's a lot more in depth for nutrition than there is for fitness, although I could. I'm just trying to give some hacks as to how you can start movement in your home without a gym membership, without having to purchase, dumbbells or anything like that. Like just ways you can start moving your body to help with your heart health, hormone health, and overall physical health. Well, I will say getting weights at home, if it's within a budget, is 100% worth it. Like 1,000% worth it. Weightlifting is extremely beneficial in so many ways, especially as you get older. If you weightlift, even if you weightlift starting now, regardless of your age, it will keep you young. It keeps your joints healthy, it keeps your muscles healthy, and it prevents it. I don't want to say it prevents the aging process because you can't really prevent that, but it just helps it become easier as you age. So as far as mobility, just being able to lift things, if you're thinking future, like in your 70s, 80s, like life will be just so much easier if you start now. So, sorry, I'm trying to pull up something. I just wanted to share a couple of workouts with you that I put together that can be helpful that you can start implementing now. So I will share this. Okay. It's not letting me do full screen again. I don't know why. We're just gonna do this. Okay. And I don't know if I can zoom in. I don't think it's gonna let me. I'm so sorry. I can send this though, if you can't read it. So here's an example body weight workout that you can do. On here it says equipment, body weight, There's 1 or 2 exercises in here with a dumbbell. One thing I will say is you can use stuff at home for weights. Like get the milk jug in your fridge or some canned beans or I'm just looking around the room like what can you grab? Um, that's what you can do. Look around the room. What's heavier than just air, basically? That will help build, help with resistance towards your muscles, which helps build the muscle, helps you get stronger. Eventually, can of beans isn't going to do much as you get stronger, right? You want to start and continue to increase that. But here are some things that can help. So a runner stretch, that is something to just help get your muscles limber to prepare for exercise. A Superman is a workout basically for your lower back. That can help with things like carrying in groceries, picking up your kid from the ground, just everyday lifestyle things. A glute bridge just helps build a strong foundation. Body weight squats, side plank, bird dogs. This helps with your core. And sorry, I'm just kind of going through this, but I'll send this out to you guys, but you can click on the video link and I don't know if there's sound to it, but I'll click on this for an example. She demonstrates how to do the exercise. So that's helpful. It's not necessarily like a follow along with me video, but it is something of, hey, this is how you perform it. And then when you look up here, it says the sets and reps. So if you don't know anything about sets and reps, basically, sets is the number of, gosh, how come I don't know the definition of sets? I've talked about this forever. So basically, if you're doing bodyweight squats and you have 12 reps, which means you do 12 squats, and once you do 12 squats, that's considered one set. So if you see right here, it says a circuit of 3 rounds. So you'll do every single exercise here once so this one, bodyweight squat, it says for 60 seconds. So you'll do that for 60 seconds and then you immediately move to the rotating side plank, 60 seconds. So you'll go through every single one of these, rest for 2 minutes, and then you'll start the second circuit. So you'll do that 3 times through, and that's technically your sets or your circuit. And then the reps it's either going to be a timed amount. So like here, for example, it gives you seconds, or it'll tell you do 12 of these or 10 of these, for example. And there's different ways to exercise depending on your goals. So I'm going to stop sharing and just talk here for a second. So if you're trying to build muscle, weightlifting is going to be beneficial. I would say as a fitness professional, you want to do a combination of weightlifting and cardiovascular exercise. You want to do both. A good way to do both in one is high intensity interval training. That's basically where you can do some agility movements, so jumping, medicine ball slams, those kind of things, along with dumbbell workouts or running or sprinting, tuck jumps, those kind of things can all be incorporated so that you're building muscle and working on that heart because it's important to do both. And actually, funny enough, I used to be a bodybuilder. So when I first started my fitness journey, I'd been an athlete my entire life. But then when I became an adult, I decided I want to do bodybuilding. I went to the doctor because all we did was weightlifting, and I had high cholesterol. And I was lifting like 5 to 6 days a week, but that's all I was doing. I wasn't doing any cardio. I wasn't even going on walks really. I was just lifting weights. And they said, you need to work on your cardiovascular health. And so that was a wake-up call for me. So even though you can just lift weights, I don't want to say it's not enough, but just be mindful of other forms of movement. No longer have high cholesterol, but I was 19 at the time, and I was like, I am 19 and I have high cholesterol. Crazy. But also my nutrition wasn't great and all the things. So that's why I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about sharing why they're both important. Now, the next thing is how can we start incorporating this with your family? There are some great free resources on YouTube that are kid friendly where they do follow along with me exercises. And I can send all of those links. I could probably put it in the chat too, but I'll send it over email. And also dancing. Dancing is so fun for everyone. So I don't know if anyone knows about like Just Dance, the game on PlayStation or whatever it's on, or Wii Bowling or Wii Tennis. Is Wii a thing still? I don't know. Okay. Or Switch. You could do Switch. Anyways, all of that stuff that your kids love, do it with them. It's fun. It really is. I did Switch tennis once and I was literally sweating. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting a good workout here. So that's a great form of cardio. Same with doing dance parties or Just Dance. There's actual YouTube videos of those. If you don't have the actual game itself, you can look it up for free on YouTube. I've actually programmed those for my clients and they will love it. Even if they don't have kids, they just do it by themselves. And they do great. And that's how they get their cardio in because a lot of people just hate cardio because it sounds boring and it's hard and people think running. But it doesn't just have to be that. It could be more fun than that. Building an obstacle course with your furniture. I know it's like the pickup afterwards sucks, but it keeps them occupied and it's a fun way for them to want to get involved and want to move their body. Same with, of course, sports, maybe going out in the backyard, throwing the baseball, throwing the football, playing soccer. Those are just simple, easy ways to get your family involved in health and fitness. Or maybe plan one night a week where you go on a family walk. That is so enriching, not just physically, but also just connection-wise, so that you guys can feel connected. Maybe you can walk to the park. I know with it getting colder out, it could be a little bit harder. But if there is a nice day or a nice night, that's something you can definitely do. And kids really enjoy that, especially if you walk to the park, because then they can get their energy out and do what they need to do, and you're still getting your exercise in too. What else did I want to add to that? Yeah, those are just some simple ways, but I think having also a regimen that you stick to as parents is so important because it's so easy to just want to give everything to the kids and put all of your focus on them, which is incredible. In the same breath, it's so important for you to take care of you before you take care of others. You cannot pour from an empty cup, right? Eventually, it's going to be so empty that you're going to have nothing left to give. And it's better for you to take the time to fill it back up so that you have even more to give. And this is something I share with my clients all the time. And they, just by small, tiny adjustments, taking 20 minutes out of my day to just do something for me, it makes a world of a difference in how they talk to their kids and how they're able to have attention for them to help with homework. And even to just sit and listen to how their day is going. Because sometimes we can just feel so stressed and overwhelmed that it's like, oh man, I didn't even ask, how their day's going. Because there's just so much going on. But just having those moments can just help you just feel more focused throughout the day. So, yeah, like I said, the fitness side was a little bit shorter, but I just wanted to give some easy, quick, simple hacks and ways that you can start, moving your body with your family. So questions on that or any topics you want me to dive deeper into as far as fitness goes? And so I know I'm looking at the chat.
That, but I just am jumping.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask, how do you know when you're strength training and you're wanting to build strength, how do you know what the right weight is, like too much or too little, so that you can actually build muscle?
Wonderful question. Very good question. It's so hard to say because every single person's at a different point in their journey. So it's one of those things of like, I need to see, okay, where are you at in your journey specifically? You know, like how long have you been weightlifting? Do you live a sedentary lifestyle or are you more active? You know, what does your nutrition look like? But for general rule of thumb, I would say the best thing to do is moderately heavy. That's kind of how I phrase it, to where, so there's this term called RPE, so rate of perceived exertion. So if I were to give you a workout, say squats, and I wanted you to do RPE 10, so rate of perceived exertion means how much weight can you lift to do 10 reps with it, to where when you hit the 10th rep, you feel like you're barely able to push it up. Or like around, you know, between 8 to 10 reps, it starts to get like really difficult to, you know, stand up kind of a thing. That's a good way to gauge it. And it's honestly just trial and error if you don't, you know the exact amount. So maybe you start with 20-pound dumbbells in your hand and you're like, oh, I did 10 easy. Okay, that means you need to go heavier. And that's what helps build the muscle, because if you're just doing something that you can easily just squat up and down, it's not really doing much to challenge the muscle. So it needs to be challenged in order to grow, right? Um, does that make sense? And is that helpful, or do you have more questions with that?
Yeah, my only other question with that would be, that's actually really helpful. That makes sense. So just to refine that a little bit,
Yes.
would that be like, the 10th rep on the first set that I feel that bit of fatigue, or should it be like on the third set or the second set?
That's also a great follow-up question. I would say the first set. Yep. Because your strength level won't really change within a singular workout. So for each set, it'll likely feel the same by the time you reach like the 8th rep, regardless of if you're in set 1 or set 4. Will you feel more fatigue? Yes, but strength-wise, it should still feel the same unless you're on like week 4 of your workout plan, if that makes sense. Awesome. Thanks for your question. That was a good one. Okay, looking at the chat, unless there's another one. You can just take yourself off of mute if you have one. Do I recommend kettlebells? Yes, kettlebells are great. Honestly, I don't see too much of a difference between a dumbbell and a kettlebell, if I'm being so honest. The only difference is that the weight is concentrated in the center versus, in two areas. Trying to think of a main difference. I mean, yeah. I'm like thinking of all the technicalities in my head. It's really not too much different. The thing with the kettlebells, you can do different dynamic exercises like the whatchamacallits. What am I thinking of? The ones where you like go between your legs and then you throw it up. Why can't I think of the term? I schedule these all the time. I don't know. But like stuff like that. You could do more power exercises with kettlebells, so like snatches, um, things of that nature. You can also do like front squats, just holding it up here. So, yeah. And then I guess the main difference is with dumbbells, you can isolate more. So, like if you want to do single arm exercises or single leg exercises, you can still hold one weight in one hand and do, reps with another hand. So yeah, but if you don't have a kettlebell, just use dumbbells and that's just as good. Yeah. And then Nina, we just went over your question. Yes, jump roping. That one's underrated too. Double unders, still can't do them. Nope. That's for like pro of the pros, you know? That's for like CrossFit people. Hula hooping, wonderful. I would recommend that. Hula is a great exercise. My grandma is into hula hooping. She's Filipino and Hawaiian, and so she's been doing like hula and all of that for years. And sometimes she burns more calories doing that than she does weightlifting. So, by all means. Awesome. And then, okay, so this is a really side note question. For sending all this information, if we could just maybe do a mass email to everybody who is on the call tonight, and we can talk about this later maybe, but that might be helpful so that we can just get it all out there. What can I do to keep my energy going instead of me being so tired from being at school? Yeah, school's a lot, isn't it? It's exhausting, but also good at the same time. Some good things can be exhausting. But yeah, I'm assuming this is a student. But I would say, oh, you're right here. Hello. Hi. It's funny, when I have questions, I always have follow-up questions of, okay, what do you eat during the day? How much water are you drinking? How much sleep are you getting? Are you drinking caffeine? These are all follow-up questions I would ask you if we were to have like a one-on-one conversation. One thing, eat. Eat, eat, eat throughout the day. Don't skip meals. Eat your breakfast that your guardian makes you. Don't leave it. Take it with you if you have to. So eat your breakfast. Bring snacks throughout the day when you're able to eat them. Some classes allow you to, some don't. Make sure you're eating your lunch. And then if you do sports or extracurriculars, again, have another snack. That's a really big one. Also, getting outside. Being outside is life-changing. Even if it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes even, to just get some sunshine, it will re-energize you. So if you have a moment throughout your day, whether it's in passing period, I don't know if you're allowed outside during the day. I don't know the rules with that. You are? Okay. So even during your lunch break, if it's nice out, eat outside. That can definitely get it back up. I know it sounds like such a simple thing, but the simple things are what work, to be so honest. I wouldn't recommend caffeine, honestly, especially if you're still in school. Do you drink caffeine? If you don't mind me asking.
Just in the morning.
Before you eat or after?
It's before.
There it is. Stop doing that. No, just kidding. But actually, yeah, eat your meal first. So make sure you're getting a protein source. So if it's eggs, sausage, a protein shake, do that with like toast or oatmeal, fruit. Fruit is incredible. So do all of that first. Maybe get some, are you allergic to nuts at all?
No.
Okay. So I would do, okay, this is just for everybody. Toast, peanut butter, eggs. Or toast, avocado with olive oil, salt, pepper, eggs. Solid meal. That gives you your carbs, your fats, your minerals, your nutrients, your protein, all in one. Just some avocado toast. So do that. Make sure you eat at least half of it and then start drinking your coffee. And don't do more than 1 cup. Or at least try not to. And the reason I say this to you specifically is because you are feeling that energy drop in the middle of the day. That tells me your cortisol is struggling a little bit. So the less stress you put on your body, the more your body is going to start to have energy again. But it has to be consistent. You can't do it one day or even a week or even 2 weeks and expect a difference. Like it's gonna be, weeks over time. But I promise you, if you stick to it, even that one change in the morning, you will notice a difference for sure. So try that out. Do you have any other questions with that?
No, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for your question. This is a good question. Are there workouts that are better to do for when you're starting to go through premenopause? Yes, yes. It's kind of a complicated response because there's so much happening with your hormones, as you probably know. And so anytime there's massive hormone shifts, the best thing you can do is just try to take it easy. Don't put more stress on your body than what it's already going through. And this goes for like even postpartum, like early postpartum. Be gentle with yourself. It's kind of the same with premenopause and even postmenopause. I would say, yeah, there's just other questions that come with it, right? Like, are you doing hormone replacement therapy? Are you working with a doctor? Are you taking supplements? Because all of those things will also determine my answer with that too. So if you are on HRT and doing those things to help support your hormones, I would say it's okay to lift weights. I would just say to limit it to maybe 1 to 3 times a week, and then the rest do lower intensity. Like no HIIT workouts, don't do high intensity, don't go to a boxing class, don't go to a cycling class, those kind of things. Like just, I would say resistance bands are great. Doing traditional weightlifting, so sets with reps with rest in between. So for example, bodyweight squats, do 3 sets of 12 reps with a 45 to 60-second rest in between each set. So yeah, like I said, when it comes to hormones, it's a little more complicated just because there's another factor at play. And this goes across the board, even if you're not in menopause. I want to say this, like if you are dealing with hormonal issues in general, it is very good to get them tested. And ways to know that, like whether or not your hormones are off is, are you feeling anxious a lot? Are you feeling tired all the time? Are you having trouble losing weight? Or do you have stubborn fat? Do you have trouble sleeping, waking up in the morning? Those are all signs of hormone disruption. A big thing with hormones is toxins in your body and around you. So again, this could be a whole nother topic on hormone health, which just for, I guess, knowledge purposes, I worked with a hormone specialist and a registered dietitian for a few years. I specialize in fitness and nutrition. However, I also helped clients with gut issues and hormone issues. So I have a decent amount of knowledge with that. I always refer out for the professional work, but questions on that are good. But all of that to say, hormones are complicated. I highly, highly recommend working with a functional doctor when it comes to pre and postmenopause because you don't want to be taking pills the rest of your life. HRT can be very helpful, just not long term, because it should just be a temporary transition to just help you feel like yourself again after those changes. So I know I went a little bit over with that question, but hopefully that was helpful, Brandy. And if you have a follow-up question with that, let me know. What can I do for sore muscles? Great question. Yeah. First thing, Epsom salt bath. That's the easiest one. It's cheap. You can get it at Walmart. Epsom salt, like a big bag, is like $3. In a warm bath, sit in it for 10 to 20 minutes, and you'll feel better as soon as you get out. The soreness won't necessarily go away, but it will feel a lot less intense. Another thing is foam rolling. So if you don't have a foam roller, that's incredible. It's really good because you can, what's the term I'm looking for? You can basically spot treat, if you will, with a foam roller. So, like, say your lat is sore, which is like your back muscle on the outside. You can like lay on the foam roller and just sit there for 30 seconds and slowly, like, back and forth, get it out. And that can actually like help get knots loose. And if you keep doing it over and over, it could actually like get it out. So, something quick and easy. Another thing is needling, but that's, you'd have to go somewhere to do that. Cupping as well. And then stretching. Stretching is very simple. I also built some stretching exercises that I can send in the email as well, that you can do to help with soreness. Yes, very important to drink water after working out, knots and things from muscles. Yes, ma'am. Which is why water is so important that we talked about earlier. Please drink your water. I know it's boring, but water that you put in tea, like say you drink tea in the morning or in the afternoon, that counts as water intake. Water that you put in a smoothie or a protein shake. Water that you add to anything counts. So if you think about it like that, maybe it won't be so hard to drink as much. But I would at least get a 32-ounce bottle. We live in Colorado. We need water. And then you can fill it up twice and you have it for the whole day. But yes, that helps a ton. Another supplement is, which take this lightly, but creatine. There's a lot of controversy around creatine. It is actually so beneficial, especially for menopause. There's a ton of research on it. I can send you a podcast episode on it. I can't remember who their names were, but they talk about like who they are and what they do, and they're just professionals in the field. And there's been a ton of research on creatine because it's very controversial. But that helps pull water from your body into your muscles so that it helps recover quicker. It's crazy. But you have to be on creatine for like 30 days before you start noticing a difference, and you have to take it every single day. So that's just another hack, but it helps pull the water like just randomly in your body, but it puts it in an intentional spot, basically. But then you have to drink more water when you're taking creatine because it's pulling water. It's a whole thing. That's why I said like take this one lightly. And this is for people that are like truly like serious about their health. They're consistently working out. Not that you have to take creatine because it can be beneficial just for your muscle health in general. But it's even more beneficial and more likely to be used when you're lifting consistently. But yeah, there's a lot more on creatine, but I don't want to go too much into the rabbit trail. So I'll send that podcast episode. I need to write that down so I don't forget. What other questions? Okay. All right. I'm not seeing anyone else that has questions. Yes, creatine, excellent. Yeah, if you have more knowledge on that, James, or things that you'd want to share, please feel free. But okay, well, if there are no more questions, I think that is the end of my time with you guys. But just wanted to say I've said it through the whole call, but if you do have questions, if you want a copy of the PDF and 8 weeks or an 8-week workout program, plus stretching, shoot me an email. It's riselifestylecoaching@gmail.com. It's in the chat, but I'm sure they will also send it out again if need be. And yeah, I think that's it for me, Rebecca. Oh, I think you're muted.
Thank you.
Yes.
Faith, what a blast. My brain is in total overload.
I
But
know it's a lot.
I've got all the notes.